Hello. Hopefully you can hear me. Hopefully my internet connection stays stable for the duration of our sit together. Welcome. If you aren't usually here, my name is Andrew. I'm a certified mindfulness meditation coach. By trade and training, I am a software engineer, and most folks will know me as the sometimes guest host and most times moderator for the Do Nothing Project. And this is Wednesday. If it's your first time here, please say hello in chat. And then I'm going to put out a reminder that I'll say hello in a second here, but put out a reminder if you want to be added to the reminder email list, send an email to that email address posted in chat. Yes, and as Fred said, say hello in chat. A big hello to everybody. Paul, Aimless, Ruth, Fred, Saban, Bill B. Hello to Marjorie and Moira. And hello, Lynn and Lisa. I think I got everybody. If I didn't, hello to you as well. All right, so what do? We meditate for 25 minutes. Usually there's some sort of theme. There is a technique. And then for the last 5 minutes, we let go of whatever technique has been offered. And we do nothing. And I sometimes mention this, but the notion really is to give us an opportunity to compare between, hello, Colette, and Ronnie, hello. It's an opportunity for us to have a contrast or comparison between implementing a technique. Usually it's a noting technique of some sort, something you'd be familiar with if you have a passing recognition of the techniques in unified mindfulness. And then we're comparing that with nothing or no technique. I guess it's not really nothing in that case, but it's sitting and knowing that you're sitting is the framing that I like that Joseph Goldstein says. So what we're going to do today is hear, rest. And so here is the tagline for the fact that our focus range is auditory sounds. And that could be hear out, so external sounds, or it could be hear in, as in mental talk. And then the rest part is the notion of there was activity, or there was a noise, and now there is no noise. So that there is a rest, quality of rest. Part of the reason I picked hear, rest, and that's HEAR, like here, like a old Hulk Hogan. Is rest different than gone? Okay, that is an excellent question. So in gone, it is the disappearance, either full or partial, of something that you were aware of. And with rest, it is a deactivation, which sounds like the same thing. So I will get you a better answer, Ruth, because that in feel rest, that one's easier because there is that felt sense of there is that positive felt sense. So I think rest versus gone, it's this notion there is a positive valence, I think would be potentially how Shinzen might frame it. But Kevin would have a better answer, which makes me feel lacking. Brown face. And so would Ralph. So yeah, so I'll get back to you. So next week there'll be a little email thing. What's the difference between rest versus gone? So there you go. All right. And Ruth has the number one crown for a reason here right now. So I was just going to say to Paul, or to as I was saying that out loud, how does this involve? So some of this feels like flow. Um, so flow would be the changingness. So, and I'm using all these terms, and I don't have a stock from, or folks may not have a stock familiarity with so I want to be careful with not getting too jargony. And you can tell that my precision is not as practiced as coaches might normally be. All right, so I was going to look up and I was going to say the clock is going to tell me that I've been talking for like 9 minutes. Thankfully, I've only been talking for 5:45. So here rest. So I guess we'll look. Well, I'll offer rest is the pleasant deactivation within here. Oh, hey, hi, Deb. And so that's what our technique is. I will invite the bell, and then we are going to sit, as I mentioned, for 25 minutes. So, all right. Sounds good. Thank you for the questions. So, and then to Paul's question too, that's the change and flow part is definitely a worthy thing. And then I don't know if we've done flow, but I don't know that we've ever really like had like a cogent, terse, operational definition of flow. So maybe I think flow has been or another way to put that is I think people have asked for flow guidance around flow, and I can't remember if I've obliged or not. So, all right. We are now at the 7-minute mark. I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to invite the bell. Thank you for being here. Thank you for making time. Thank you for asking good questions. All right. And then a hello to S. Quinn. All right. So I always begin guidance with some tips and pointers on establishing the posture. We want to be upright without being uptight. So if we're seated in a chair, a cushion, or a bench, we're still looking for that uprightness. I'll focus on those postures, but you could be standing, lying down, or walking. It's all equally valid. And checking in with what's already here, getting a sense of our inner weather. So for me, I've got like this sort of sloth and torpor, sort of tiredness. So I'm short by about an hour and 10 minutes of sleep, and so I'm just not quite as sharp. So dragging me along in a haste would not be a good time. So I'm just acknowledging that part, not trying to change it or force it. Just a nod to that. And then from a body sense, just seeing if there's any tension being held in the body. Maybe that's the shoulders, the neck, the jaw, the eyes, the ears if you've been wearing glasses. Just seeing if there's tension. Again, we're not chasing it away. And then finally, a few deliberate breaths. Slow and low is the tempo that we're going for. Breathing in through the nose allows us to slow that breath down. Let it sink all the way to the belly. And then as it turns around and becomes the exhale, seeing if we can extend and accentuate it. And for me, the few deliberate breaths are bodily sense that I've sort of arrived for my meditation. And as we begin, just calling out this notion of just sitting and knowing that you're sitting, so you can kind of come back to that as a waypoint. If the guidance around here rest sends you too afar, you can come back to this spot. So our technique here rest, our focus range is sounds. So sounds in our environment, my environment, your environment, and mental talk. And then if we notice a sort of pleasant deactivation, we can label that rest. So the structure is if I have body sensation that's out of my focus range or out of my focus range. So bringing my attention to sounds or to mental talk, and doing so with compassion and care for myself. And then within here, noticing where my attention is, soaking my attention in that concentration power, and optionally labeling here. And if rest is available, can use the label rest. So that is your mission if you choose to accept it. I'll let you explore on your own and offer a few thoughts in a bit. And so if you're used to focusing on a different home base, you may find yourself kind of starting out with the intent to focus on here space, and then suddenly you find yourself counting your breaths or following the breath. So when that happens, just that notion of being able to offer care in how you bring yourself back to our technique, bring yourself back to here. So we can see that as a point of frustration, or we can see it as an opportunity to practice care in every return. So every wandering of the mind, opportunity for care. And if you find yourself really struggling with the technique and you keep coming back to your home base, this is an opportunity for you to switch. So shift to your home base and kind of let that be your technique for now. Or again, you could keep going, but if you feel that resistance to the technique, now is the chance to shift to your home base. So either way, if you were keeping on with the technique, or you shifted to your home base, I invite you to take either of those techniques and put them on the shelf and shift into do nothing. And with do nothing, we're letting go of any of our intentions to control, guide, or shape our attention. Or the imagery I like is that we've been pedaling and now it's time to coast. sit has ended, I'll ring the bell to signify that. Thank you for your practice. May the fruits of our practice be for the benefit of all beings. May our actions be for the benefit of all beings. And I always want to do the humanities bow. I'm very, very Zen indoctrinated. Thank you very much, Aimless. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Paul, and everybody. Thank you for the likes. Appreciate that. So this Sunday, I am your host for the Do Nothing Project. I don't have a theme. Surprise, surprise. But Fred will be moderating, and I'll be in front of the camera, and it'll look like this. So Jeff's assistant Milin has set it up so that it'll be a web link, so I can use my normal setup. So we won't have reverse text fun like we've been having in the last couple bits. So no backwards. It won't be like the backwards day edition of the Do Nothing Project. So, that's good to hear, Marjorie. And I will. I'm gonna have to take a note about, and maybe I should draft Ralph into helping with tuning up the gone versus rest versus flow, because I think that might be an interesting one. But yeah, so Sunday, that's at 8 Eastern normal time. But for the few folks, I've got a few folks here who aren't on the Sunday regiment. So that's youtube.com/Jeff Warren Meditation. And the Do Nothing Project is at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central, 6 Mountain, and 5 Pacific. So the Q&A session, that's true. I forgot about that, Paul. I haven't scheduled that. So yeah, thinking about that. But all I could think about when I couldn't think of a good answer, I'm on Star Trek impulse power here. Which is an excuse, which I should not be making excuses. But one thought I had was what would Ralph say? That was my what would Ralph say? And nothing came up. My brain didn't produce anything, so that's unfortunate. But flow, I know, flow is usually the easiest shorthand for that is the changingness of things. Rest, there's usually that positive notion of when you've had sort of you've been carrying something and you put it down, that relaxation feeling. Usually what we offer from a pointer as a coach for that. And then gone is there was a thing there and now it's not. But those are real blunt framings. So is feel rest when the brain doesn't produce something? That is tough. That's a tough framing for me. So feel rest. So brain does. So I think of feel rest as being a skillful attunement of sensory clarity. So there is a sensation there and the sensation's positive. So it's not that it doesn't produce anything. The impulse power reference. Yeah, to me, it's it's kind of like Jeff had comments about the least possible effort is what I wrote down. I wrote it down on a sticky note, but I don't think that's what Jeff said. but I wrote this down because I wanted to do a meditation around it, and I haven't, obviously. But the impulse power Star Trek reference is that the engines are like idling. They're idling, but they're not moving. So, oh, okay. Well, yeah, you should share what you should share. I don't remember if Jeff. I don't remember if Jeff responded to that. Um, so yeah, so that's my shorthand, Ruth. But if we were showing this in graphical representation for statistics, I'd have error bars on there. I'm not confident in that as an answer. So, oh, set the intention to meditate. Okay, that's a very interesting. Thank you, Paul. Yeah, okay, I could see that. Yeah, the way I often point in that direction is this idea that your meditation started when you decided to be here. So I think that's similar. But all right, well, I'm saying all these things about how my brain isn't working. I should probably stop. I should probably stop saying things. So, oh, okay. Look at that. Ruth's busting out Sanskrit. Um, so okay. So I told you about Sunday. Um, and that should be announced in the Saturday newsletter. Um, I'm not sure when Substack broadcasts are going to start, but they're probably going to start soon. So if you aren't subscribed, you can do a free subscription to Homebase with Jeff at homebasewithjeff.com. No spaces, so all one word. So that'd be one way to be prepared for the Do Nothing project going from YouTube to Substack. So that would be another thought. So, and then, yeah, cool. All right. Well, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your questions. Uh, and as Saban said, I look forward to sitting with everyone on Sunday. So, all right. Have a great rest of your week and happy Thursday for our Australian viewers. Yes, figuring out the Substack settings. I think hopefully we'll have some guidance around that potentially soon. So yes, and press the like button. 3 of you have already pressed the like button, so social pressure is working. All right, thanks.